Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Today I'm probably making my most controversial video, and probably will be my most controversial video for a long time, considering what's been going on for the past 2 years and what's been going on for a long time. There will be some heavy subject matter for your sake if you are at all concerned with the title and or the thumbnail. Be free to click off the video.
If you wanna get up, you need a little revive.
The theory of communism is very diverse, but does share several core elements. The dominant forms of communism are based on Marxism or Leninism, but non-Marxism versions of communism also exist, such as anarchoism or anarcho-communism and Christian communism. Common elements include being theoretical rather than ideological, identifying political parties but not ideology, but by class and economic interest, and identifying the proletariat. According to the communist, the proletariat can protect mass unemployment only if capitalism is overthrown. Marxism is a method of socio-economic analysis that uses materialistic interpretations of historical development, better known as historical materialism. Marxism was a political theory created by Karl Marx. As Marxism was developed over time into various branches of schools of thought, no single definitive Marxist theory exists. Marxism considers itself the embodiment of scientific socialism, but does not model an ideal society based on the design of intellectuals. Communism is used by 5 countries today, those countries being China, North Korea, Cuba, Laos, and Vietnam. Although Russia is very close to being communist, Russia isn't actually communist, it's closer to socialism on the political scale. Marx was born in Trier, Germany on May 5th, 1818. Please correct me if I'm saying Trier right. From his mother and father, Henriette Pressburg and Heinrich Marx. Marx's family was originally non-religious Jewish, but then later converted formally to Christianity. Little is actually known about Marx's childhood, though. When he was born, he was the third out of 9 children, but then became the eldest son whenever his brother Mordez died in 1819, a year after he was born, which, when you're 1 year old, that's kind of hard to go through. You won't really remember it, but it's still a hard thing to go through. Marx and his surviving siblings, Sophie, Hermann, Henriette, Louis, Emily, and Caroline, were then all baptized in August 1824 to the Lutheran Church. Marx was homeschooled until 1830, where he was then put into the Trier, please, again, correct me if I'm saying it wrong, high school. In 1835, when Marx was 16, and at the time, Marx's passion for philosophy and literature were on the rise. After researching schools, he found a school who would take care of these passions. The University of Bonn was his school of choice. When Marx introduced this idea to his father, he was completely against him going into this field of philosophy and literature, instead insisting on law as a more practical field due to the conditions at the time known as weak chest. That's actually the name. I'm not joking. Marx was excused from the military at 18 years old while at the University of Bonn. Marx joined the Poets Club, a group containing political radicals that were monitored by the police. Although Marx's grades were good in his first term, they soon deteriorated to the point where his father transferred him to the University of Berlin. Well, the main question of the video now is, why is communism a great idea? Well, number 1, everyone is equal. In a communist regimen, people are treated equally in the eyes of the government, regardless of education, financial standing, and etc., etc. Economic boundaries don't separate or categorize people, which can help migrate crime and violence. Number 2, every citizen can keep a job. In a communist system, people are entitled to jobs because the government owns all means of production. The government can provide jobs for at least the majority of people. Everyone in a communist country is given enough work opportunities to live and survive. Every citizen, however, must do his or her part for the economy to receive pay and other work benefits. Number 3, There is an internally stable economic system. In communism, the government dictates economic structure. Therefore, economic instability is out of the question. Every citizen is required to work in order to receive benefits, and those who don't have corresponding sanctions. This creates an incentive to participate and encourage economic growth. Number 4, strong social communities are established. In communism, there are certain laws and goals which determine resource and responsibility allocation. If the citizen abide by these laws, this leads to harmonious spirit of sharing one goal. Consequently, this builds stronger social communities and even stronger economy. Number 5, competition doesn't exist. In communist societies, everyone can work harmoniously without stepping on each other's toes. Work, responsibility, and rewards are shared equally among the citizens if people have no sense of envy, jealousy, or ambitions that counter the goals of the state, then a harmonious economic development can be maintained. And the final pro is, or number 6, efficient distribution of resources. In a communist society, the sense of cooperation allows for efficiency and resource distribution. This is very important, especially in times of need and emergency situations. Now, with all of the research out of the way, let's move on to why it will never work. Do you know that bees work in a perfectly synchronized way with their swarm? They do not have to be trained or taught how to behave and work. For example, the first thing a bee does is clean the cell where it was born for the next larvae, or to store honey, whatever the hive needs. It then has various roles like building honeycomb with beeswax, repairing the hives, foraging for nectar and pollen, etc., etc. All of these duties and roles are built into the bee's DNA. As the bee grows older, hormones are released which activate a part in their DNA that tell them what job they need to do and when. Ant colonies are the same way. Individual ants behave according to their DNA and hormones. For example, a couple days after an ant dies, it releases a chemical that makes the live ants take the dead body to a section of the colony called the graveyard. If you spray the same chemical on a live ant, it will walk to the grave and lie there, even though it is alive. My point is that ants and bees form complex and productive societies with no quarrels, courts, police, and no moral code or religion. They do what they are programmed to do all their life, and great advantage to their colonies and swarms. This is the communist utopia. Humans do not operate like this. We do not simply adopt societal roles at birth that are decided by our DNA or hormones. We have the ability to think for ourselves. We do not rely on our DNA to tell us what to do. This is the big thing that makes us different from bees and ants. We have a sense of self and think in our own best interest. A bee that collects twice as much nectar as the other bees does not think that it deserves something more than the other bees. A bee does not think that if she's going to get the same amount of benefits regardless of how much nectar it collects, then she should do the least amount of work possible. Well, with that, you have made it to the end of the video. I'm proud of you for staying. It helps me, and I hope it helped you grasp the reality of communism. I'm going to try and post more controversial topics in the future, like abortion, rape, and maybe even sexual identity, but I plan on doing those later, and I already have an idea for the next video. I'm not going to purposely make them about these harsh topics and say that they're good, because none of these are good, but recently, in modern times, there have been miscommunication with what these actually mean, and some people are getting put behind bars for something that they didn't do. Anyways, with that out of the way, if you like this video, I would absolutely appreciate it if you considered subscribing, and if at all you would like, I now have an Instagram where I will post sneak peeks on my latest video I'm making. And by the way, ideas are a huge help to me. So if you would like your idea to be made into a video, please don't hesitate to leave a comment. On any of my socials, that includes my TikTok, my Instagram. By the way, my TikTok is just the same as my YouTube, basically. Yeah, don't hesitate. I really appreciate it. Anyways, with that out of the way, I'll see you guys in the next video.